tornadoes and hurricanes. I was in a hurricane one time when I was 4 years old. It scared me and I was terrified. I was up on the second floor of this house and bricks and tree limbs were flying by and the wind was whistling. Terrible, terrible thing to be in one of those earthquakes or hurricanes or tornadoes. They're terrifying and we get scared and frightened. But there are other calamities in life. There are other storms in life that we experience. When we've been laid off, we've been fired maybe, financial loss, or death in the family, or we've been robbed, or our home was broken into, physical sickness, all kinds of calamities come into our life, huh? In fact, one of the parishioners was telling me the other day, last night in fact, after Mass, that he was scared when he got married. I don't know what he meant by that. But many things come into our life that are kind of on the negative side. So many tragedies that can happen in life. And at times, this world can really be a scary place. Huh? Things turn out like that, and our world is turned upside down. And then there are times, when that fear or that loss can immobilize us and even paralyze us, stop us dead in our tracks, and we're dumbfounded. We don't know which way to turn, and we are stunned. And we ask, where is God in all of this? Where is He when I need Him? And there are times when it seems God has abandoned us, that He doesn't care, that He's asleep in the back of the boat or in the car or wherever. He's taking a snooze. And so we are very much like the disciples in Mark's Gospel. And Mark portrays them as slow learners. They continually miss the point of who Jesus is and what He can do. They have to keep learning the same lesson over and over and over again. In a couple of chapters further on in Mark, they're in complete awe and they don't know what to say or do. When He feeds the multitudes or when He walks on the water, they're dumbfounded, they're stunned. And this time, just as quickly as the storm subsides, the disciples' fear of the storm changes into the fear of the Lord. They should have been happy and relieved that they were saved from the grip of death. But instead, they were simply in awe. Could this really have happened? Did He really do this? Could He really do this? And Jesus rebukes them and questions their faith. These men believed in Jesus. They knew He was something special, sent from God. They didn't believe that He was powerful enough to deal with the untamed forces of nature. You see, the disciples were in the process of growing. Their question, who can this be, implies that they really do not comprehend the reality of who this Jesus is. But they are willing to keep asking and to probe and to ask questions to a final answer in the death and resurrection of Jesus. They hung in there. And this miracle that they experienced and the miracles after are building blocks, one right after the other in their journey in the faith. They were growing. They were growing. And we were a lot like Job. Job hears the awesome speech of God, part of which we heard today. It's unfortunate that we just heard part of it. And I paraphrase what God was saying. He was telling Job that know that I am God and be quiet, and that should be enough for you. It should be enough that I am God, and leave it at that. You see, Job was in the process of growing, that he must give up trying to find an answer to why me. He kept asking that wonderful story of Job. If you've never read it, you should read it. He's losing practically everything in his life. He was rich and he lost everything but his wife. And he's asking, why me? But he's got to let that go. He's got to let that go. He must realize that God still loves and cares for him despite all of his losses. And that God is unpredictable. It's unpredictable love, God, because we don't understand God, because we don't think like him. But yet we know, and Job knew, that he was a loving, caring Father. And we are still going in our faith now. Hopefully, we're still going. God is not done with us yet, because we're still here. But we still from time to time ask, where are you, God, when I need you the most? When I need you the most. And I'm reminded of the story and the picture of footprints. Do you remember that? You know, there are two sets of tracks in the sand, and we only see one. And there's only one when we're most in pain, when we're confused, when we really need him, and there's only one set of tracks. That one set of tracks is God's. And God is carrying us. Because God is always with us. Always with us. And my brothers and sisters, as we continue to grow in our faith, with every experience that we encounter, whether it be good or not so good, they're building blocks. We mature by being jolted every once in a while to wake us up out of our smugness and our complacency. We're in a comfortable zone. We're not supposed to be in a comfortable zone. We're supposed to be growing. We're not flatliners. We need the hills and the valleys to continually to grow in our faith. And when you think about it, those hills and valleys, those tragedies, those good times, those mountains, those valleys, they brought us to where we are today. And that's not all bad. You're here, praising and worshiping our God. My brothers and sisters, God is always with us. He is not against us, he is for us. And today, as we heard in the song, let us give thanks to the Lord, for his love is everlasting. And let us listen closely to the Lord and hear that same voice that the disciples heard in today's gospel. And we should be challenged by that voice. We should be challenged by that question that God posed to the disciples. And he tells us today, he asked us today, why are you afraid? Why are you afraid? That's a challenge. That is a challenge, my brothers and sisters. Think about that. Why